Hey everybody, it's Beth. I'm using this pot holder I got from Dollar General and this panel that I got from Walmart. The panel is 10 by 10. I paint the entire sides and back of the panel and just the edge of the front with Waverly chalk paint in the color Snow White. Once that's dry, I take Mod Podge and apply a generous layer to the top of the panel where I had painted just the edge. Spread that out, and then when it's still wet, place down my scrapbook paper. The scrapbook paper I got from Amazon. Once I have it smoothed out with my hands, I take my heating tool and dry that. Once it's dry, I go around with my sander and sand the edges to get the excess scrapbook paper off. And then I do an outer layer of Mod Podge covering the scrapbook paper, again drying that with my heating tool. Next, I take my pot holder and cut the image off of the front. And then I take these giant craft sticks I got from Walmart and make some marks on the craft stick to where I need to cut it down to fit into the image. I use my Fisker shears to cut that, and then I use that first one as my guide to cut the rest, and I need 5 of those total. I then take my crafter's square and get those nice and even and use 2 more craft sticks that are regular size and hot glue them across all 5 of those. I then sand that down where I had cut it and paint it with the Snow White chalk paint, covering the front and the edges. Once it's dry, I add a layer of Mod Podge to the front of that and place down my pot holder image. I smooth it out with my hands and then use my heating tool to dry it, and then do another layer of Mod Podge covering the top. After that top layer is dry, I flip it over and I just take my razor blade and cut the excess fabric around the edge. I then have placed that image down on the scrapbook paper and got it as centered as possible, and then use some just small painter's tape to mark where that is going to need to be glued down. I then add some hot glue to the craft sticks on the back and place that down next to that painter's tape. And then remove the tape, and that is it for this project. Thank you so much for watching.